I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight it will be the stars and cars of the USFPRO Championship, coming to you from the land of the rising sun. Okayama Circuit will be hosting tonight's festivities as we are getting ready to roll here in qualifications. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth as always by Mr. James Watson. And I tell you what, James, interesting stuff we heard out of some of the drivers in the pre-race, basically talking about how technical this circuit is, and the reality of things is that I think it was the illusion of downforce or something along those lines is what some of the drivers were talking about. This place is going to be really tough for the drivers to get around.
Yeah, although I'm very curious to see how they're going to do in this particular session. Like, I don't have the particulars, but it seems like the track conditions seem to be fairly optimal. It seems to be either early in the morning or late at night. Either way, I think we might see some pretty monster lap times.
Well, let's see. Sam Carasala electing to reset the car as we'll pick up with car number 1 of Ted Burns coming around to start his qualification lap. 69-degree ambient temperature. Very nice day here in Japan. 71-degree track temperature under cloudy skies. I'm going to say fairly cloudy-ish. It doesn't look too crazy cloudy, but like you said, optimal conditions for these drivers to put down some quick laps in qualifying, and then you're going to have to convert that into being probably darn near spot perfect in the race. Of note, this race, as much as we've talked about some SOFs earlier in the week and earlier in this season for the PM18, this actually kind of has the feeling it may be one of the lower SOFs that we see this season. 24-18 is the strength of field on this one here tonight, with a single split of 22 cars. I-ratings ranging from Ted Burns at a 77-13 all the way down to a 1084 being the lowest I rating in the field. And James, that kind of gives me the feeling that we might see some craziness here tonight because a lot of potentially inexperienced drivers with this car in the race here tonight.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this is going to go. it's funny that it's a rookie track, being free, but it's not exactly too rookie friendly. So seeing the top talent we have towards the front of the field get through it is going to be interesting.
Ted Burns setting the quick lap time at a 23:792. All of these times will have a 1 minute in front of them, by the way, but 792 for Ted Burns. 1/100th of a second back is the three of David Porcelli. Have not seen that name here in the PM18s for a little while. Good to see David back in the car. Denny Serdyakov, currently in the third position. Alexander Wesley Hazelworth and Nagisa Yoshikawa complete the top five here as we are down to 4 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. Everybody is on the racetrack. 17 cars have completed a lap time. Of note, Sam Karasala has not yet completed a lap. He is currently working lap number 1 of his qualification run. Teddy B going to swing around out of this final kind of 90-degree right-hand corner. He'll come over the checkered and see the checkered flag over the start-finish line. Lap number 2 will be 1 minute 23.8, so that's not good enough. But how about Alexander Wesley Hazelworth? The law firm went quick time. Now he's going to fall back down to the second position as David Porcelli moves up into position number 2. Sam Karasala still out on the racetrack, and he is working his second lap. Denny Serdyakov now sets the fastest lap even faster, 23:495. Everett Paddock also working his second lap. Jason Miller working lap number 2 as well, as is Brian North. Everybody else has gotten their 3 laps. And I'm sorry, also Kendall James working lap number 2. Everett Paddock crossing the line. He's going to stay in position number 7, 1 minute 24.089. But it's going to be Dennis Serdyakov currently on provisional pole at a 23:495. Sam Karasala's first lap, though, is among the best of the lot that we saw out of lap number 1. Take a look, see what Sam can do here as we're down to the final 2 minutes, but we won't use that much time in qualifications. Karasala down over the line. Checkered flag goes in the air for Sam, and it's going to be a 23:523, 3/100ths of a second separating our top 3 in qualifications. Oh my goodness. This is just screaming absolute rager of a race here, James. Top 5 cars, all within a third of a second. If you're looking for 1 second separating the cars, we have to go all the way back to 11th place Rod Eskew.
Yeah, this is insane. I don't think we've ever seen a field this close to this degree.
It is going to be an interesting watch, that is for sure. But qualifications have come to a conclusion, and cars will start getting themselves out onto the starting grid. And it is a short one, so a short pace lap. So let's take a look here at the starting lineup for tonight's race. Dennis Serdyakov out of Illinois in the Buzzing Hornet number 7. We're not allowed to say that sponsor on the air. Lining up to his outside will be the number 3 of David Porcelli. Row number 2 will have the Alaska Air number 2 of Sam Karasala alongside of the law firm Alexander Wesley Hazelworth in car number 5. Row number 3, Ted Burns of the Downforce Racing number 1. New colors on that car debuting 1 week ago. Good look there for Teddy B. To his outside, the NASA Meatball Jet Propulsion Laboratory number 8 of Brian Labarge. Everett Paddock in the number 4, and let's see here. We got to do a refresh on the paint schemes here. Make sure we got the right ones up for you. Everett Paddock lining up on the inside of row number 4. To his outside will be the number 6 of Nagisa Yoshikawa. Now we got to look at the right ones, I think. Alexander Martin lining up inside of row number 5. To his outside, the PPG Paints Shell V-Power number 10 of Jason Miller. Rod Eskew in that gorgeous Philadelphia Flyers number 9 Car looks a lot better than the hockey team's playing right now inside of row number 6. To the outside, number 12, Nietzsche Camargo out of Brazil. Carl Giangrande in the Hesketh, number 14, out of New York, lining up alongside of Joel Campbell out of Michigan in car number 13. Gavin Tomza in a Lotus F1 livery. That makes me nervous. Tyler Stover to his outside in the number 18.
That one's acceptable.
Jem Matson out of Florida inside of row number 9. Kendall James on the outside. Row 10 will have Jonathan Nuna and Tobias Ernlison. That's a vintage Williams F1 scheme circa 1994. Again, makes me nervous. Brock Sanders out of Georgia and Brian North out of the Mid-South will occupy the final row of the grid here this evening. Field is getting down towards the start line. Serdyakov will have control of the field. He is going to bring him down very slowly. All the way down, almost to the start-finish line. Green flag goes in the air. Oh, this is going to be wild into turn number 1.
Oh, my God.
Oh, big contact. Hazelworth
it
goes off. Hazelworth is off. Contact may have been Ted Burns that was down to the inside, making a little bit of contact with David Porcelli. You kind of just can't go 3 wide into turn 1.
No, that was a joy.
Yeah, there was sendage involved in that one. Take a look very quickly at the replay here. Big move up the inside by Burns. Oh, Teddy B had nothing to do with it. That was just Porcelli making contact. Wow. Early drama here. Serdyakov holds the race lead. Burns, Porcelli, Carousala, Paddock, the top 5. Oh, and Eskew's going to go for a spin. Rod Eskew finally able to get the car rejoining. There's a look at Alexander Wesley Hazelworth. So now 2 very quick cars going to have to come for the back of the field here, James. But 18 laps is a long time to get it done.
Yeah, and draft doesn't really play a huge factor in this track, a little bit. So pace-wise, they should be okay to make up some ground, but at least for the law firm, it's going to be hard to get back to where he started.
Yeah, as much as the draft may not play a role, the technical nature of the track means you kind of have to hit the marks, and passing zones are at a premium here.
And there are some good passing zones. Like coming down into here, this is a great passing zone. You got the draft, you can outbrake. Just gotta be careful. This downhill section does not aid the braking.
Serdyakov covered off the inside line, but Teddy B's gonna have the look on the switchback into the left-hander. Great move by Ted Burns, new race leader. Now David Porcelli thought about trying to sneak through, nothing there. And one of the things oh, go ahead, James.
I was going to say, and that's the other reason why it's such a good passing zone. You can't really defend a whole lot because the very next corner is an immediate left-hander. So you hold the inside. Oh, look, now you're on the outside. At a part of the track you don't want to be on the outside.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because one of the things that really makes me think is where you can be defensive by giving up the position. Or at least giving up the preferred line. If you run that wider lane through the corner, yes, the guy might be able to get inside of you, but you're going to have the better position leading into the left-hander.
Yeah, so it just becomes kind of a game of how you're going to play your cards. And we really don't see people try that often here, oddly enough. I just don't think it really comes natural to think to do that.
Well, it's such a great braking opportunity that you kind of... It's a great braking opportunity you have to cover the line, but you have to be smart in how you cover it because you can't just give up the spot. You almost have to cover the line and start to fade out at the midpoint of the corner. It kind of, we talked about it the other night in the Shock Series broadcast, the Ayrton Senna concept of, I'm going to put you in a position where either you're going to crash us both, or you're going to have to back out.
Exactly, and sometimes I just don't think certain drivers just want to put themselves in that position. Plus, we always think, it's not going to happen to me, I'll outbrake them.
Trouble for Brian Labarge. He has to pull off, and he's down onto the grass. That may be a hardware issue for Brian Labarge.
Yeah,
able to get back on the loud pedal, but giving up a bunch of spots in the process. Looks like Kendall James may also have had an issue. Take a look at the 16, slides a little bit wide. Oh, a little bit of a spin. Oh, and two cars hard into the tire barrier. And they both have to take the tow back to pit lane. So we'll pick up this battle for the second position. Serdyakov doing a nice job holding off Porcelli and Carasala. Of note, though, he's not slow in the process. Race leader Ted Burns still only has about 0.7 of a second. It sounds like a lot, but that's kind of right around the edge of the number where you are still in draft range of the car in front.
Yeah, just barely. It is interesting to see them already start to put together that big of a gap on Everett.
Yeah, Everett Paddock battling with Nagisa Yoshikawa. Let's pick that battle up here as it's going to head off down towards turn number 1. Want to remind everybody, get those shout-outs, questions, comments in on the comments section down at the bottom of your screen. Of note, Paddock also not really losing any time to Yoshikawa either. It seems like these guys are kind of just where they are on pace.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at earlier, is that they're just kind of pulling away from both of them, and that's very surprising. Like, you wouldn't think that they'd just be able to just drive away from those two of all people in this race.
Jem Matson coming around Carl Giangrande. That is the fight for the 12th position. 2, 3, 4 are still pretty much nose to tail, separated by anywhere from 2.5 to 0.4 of a second. About the same gap that this battle is sitting at right now. A little bit further back, Rod Eskew and Alexander Wesley Hazelworth.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I was going to say that was Jem Matson. Porcelli almost playing defense here on Sam Carasala. And you wonder, is that a little bit, possibly a little bit more downforce for Porcelli, where he's giving up a little bit of straight line speed to be quick through the corners, but he's not able to make the ground up on Serdyakov either?
I think that could be. I think it's not too much of a stretch to think that you might need more downforce for this track, considering there's a heck of a lot more corners than there are straightaways. But as you can see, it might be running just a smidge more downforce. They definitely need to get by that SEPA car here pretty quickly, because Ted's starting to pull away.
Go on board here with David Porcelli. There you see the car of Serdyakov just up ahead, but we swing the camera around, and there's Sam Carasala right there. And this could be an instance where Porcelli and Carasala are about even on pace, but because Porcelli has to defend, Carasala's going to look like he's a little bit quicker, but here comes the move. Thought about the crossover, nothing there. Oh, not able to dive back inside either.
Yeah, if he would have tried to dive back there, that's what we call a low percentage move.
Oh, big twitch there for Porcelli. Carasala almost had the space to make the move. And right now, this is the tightest fight on the racetrack. In fact, most of the field separated by 2.5 seconds or more. As the field's going to come around to put lap number 8 up on the scoreboard, almost halfway through. Again, Sergeyakov holding about 0.8 of a second back. He's not going to catch the draft of Ted Burns, but it's not much of a bobble that would bring him right back into play.
No, Ted still needs to run qualifying laps to keep these guys behind him.
We talked about the monster strength of field 1 week ago in this race. Ted Burns entering tonight with 665 championship points. Now, he does have 4 weeks counted, so that is something to consider. But Sam Carasala, sitting second in points, has the same number of weeks counted. For Teddy B, 6 starts, 5 wins, 4 poles, and he's led 160 of 172 laps completed. Just insane, the numbers that Ted's putting up. But Sam is no slouch either. 8 starts, 6 wins, 8 top 5s, and he's led 195 of 330 laps. This is going to be a championship battle for the record books. And the best part is Everett Paddock is only like 7 points back of Sam Carasala for second right now.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be, but if Ted keeps putting up performances like this, I don't think that battle's going to last very long.
All right, Corcadillo's checking in the comments. As you can see, I chose to be in chat in this race. Yeah, we'll take that one. Accelerator also checking in. Great broadcast as always, guys. Well, thank you much. We appreciate the kind words. And if you are so inclined, the super chats are down there, the super thanks, channel memberships, all that kind of stuff too. We really appreciate all the support of our community members here on the NRM platform. Is Shelley, little bit of a lockup. And what am I seeing just up ahead, James, but lap traffic? I think the race leaders will be catching lapped cars before we know it.
Which, I'm surprised. I didn't think lap traffic would really play much of a factor. I didn't think they'd be able to catch them that quickly.
It'll be cross flags at the start-finish line, this time by just 1 corner away for race leader Ted Burns. There's the signal at the start-finish line, halfway home here at Okayama. Pretty darn good schedule coming up here in this month of April, even getting into May. Next week, we head off to Circuit Zolder. Great racetrack over in the Netherlands. Follow it up with a visit to the streets of Long Beach, the Long Beach Grand Prix circuit. Then Barber Motorsports Park and Alton Park kicking off the month of May. Speaking of the month of May, 2 amazing events coming up here. Awesome, incredible, fantastic. The TNT Special Events Series is going to run on back-to-back nights for the first time ever. Friday night, it will be the Carb Night Classic. Indianapolis Raceway Park, the home of the Carb Night Classic. But instead of running 4 separate races, we're going to run one race with all 4 cars that run the Carb Night Classic on the track at the same time. Sprint cars, Silver Crowns, USF 2000s, and the PM18s. I cannot wait. That is going to be chaos and carnage. For even more chaos, Saturday night, it will be the 5th annual, I can't believe I'm saying that, 5th annual, right? Vintage Indy. All of the vintage Indy cars. Going back to the Lotus 49, replicating the cars of the 60s. The Lotus 79, kind of the 80s, early 80s aero cars. The Crap Wagon, the IR05, the DW12, and the Sprint car. Thinking back to the Roadsters, my favorite part of that is the fact that The sprint car and the 49 do almost the exact same lap time around the speedway, but they do it in completely different ways. The 49s are super quick through the corners. The sprint car is wildly fast down the straightaway, and neither car can keep it in a straight line. So everybody that's running 230 miles an hour is dodging sprint cars and Lotus 49s the entire time.
It's gonna be a time.
Always one of my favorite races of the year. We will not be broadcasting either one of those, in fact, because I'll be driving in them. That's kind of the one weekend of the year where I say, nope, I'm not broadcasting this. I love to drive the cars. And quite frankly, it's always a challenge for me to pick which one I want to run. But Ari's checking in saying he's watching 2 races right now, you guys and Porsche Cup. This is so much cooler than Porsche Cup is.
Right?
Although, depending on where Porsche Cup is, might be a little bit better race. Not missing anything throughout the field here. We have David Porcelli and Sam Carasala as the view you're looking at, separated by 0.2 or so. We'll work our way back through the field. Pick up Jason Miller and AJ Camargo. They are in a fight for the 8th position. The next closest battle is going to be Tyler Stover and Carl Giangrande. Just up ahead, Rod Eskew and Jason Campbell. They're not all that close either. But, oh, here we go. Side-by-side battle for the 3rd position.
Whoa.
Porcelli and Carasala. We're going to go back and show you this one on the replay. Where we saw the pass for the race lead, Porcelli covers the inside line. Same bat time, same bat channel. Carasala able to get the move sort of cleared outside, has to fall right back in line, and that's what I talked about. Porcelli was able to get the acceleration out of the corner and force Carasala to get back in line and not be able to use that inside lane to his advantage.
He got some acceleration right there too. You could see the tire marks.
This battle is letting Denis Serdyakov get away ever so slightly. We're going to call the gap 1.3 seconds, separating 2nd and 3rd. And about the same gap separates 1st and 2nd. And there we're seeing some of the lap traffic here. I believe that's Jem Matson, who's not too far up the racetrack from the race leaders. If you are interested in participating in either of the TNT special events that are upcoming, you can visit discord.gg/TNT Racing. That will get you to the TNT Discord server, and make sure you select the special events driver role, and you'll get all the information there.
What is the exact date for running those on?
That's a question. Let's see. I think we have a calendar, allegedly. Bizzle's in charge of this stuff, so we never know how good any of this is going to be. But
So that means Wes has the calendar.
May 17th, Carb Night Chaos. May 18th, the 5th annual Vintage Indy. Cannot wait for that one. And you'll start to see some graphics and stuff on that up on our social channels as well. But Wes Shire checking in saying, my brain decided to not understand the concept of time. Anyway, see y'all next week. All right, then. This battle for 2nd, or 3rd, I should say, really closing in on Denis Serdyakov. Porcelli holding the spot on Carasala, but now with 5 laps to go, if Porcelli starts looking too far out the front and in chase down mode, that's sometimes how you can forget and leave the door open to get that passing attempt from behind.
Yeah, you're getting excited thinking, oh, I'm reeling him in. I'm reeling him in. Hey, where'd he come from?
And coming around multiple lap cars now as well. Porcelli has no issue coming around Jeb Matson. Should be the same story here for Denis Serdyakov down into the right-hander. Matson
Gets
going to move out of the way.
Fair play.
Oh,
I
Carazala's
saw a little
right
touch.
there.
There was a little rear touch.
Maybe some grab ass going on there at the entrance to that right-hander. I love it. Accelerator saying, I'll definitely try to make it to the Vintage Indy this year for the 49s. That's awesome. One of the great moments in Vintage Indy history, Bizzle had about a 5-lap lead in the Lotus 49s. He is phenomenal in that car at that track. And his internet died. And he spent...
the anti-cheat kicked in.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The anti-cheat kicked him. By the time he got back in, he had lost all 5 laps, but he was at the tail end of the lead lap and basically had to try to drive his way forward, ultimately coming back to second. We'll remind him of that every chance we get.
Yes.
Bissell saying, went to go buy another car, lost track of time, oops. I'm glad you got to hear us talking about your all-time great just falling apart of things is
Here we go.
looking outside of Serdyakov, and Carazala may go with him. Oh, what a move by Carazala to go 2 for 1.
That was so ballsy. Oh my goodness. He had to make that move, otherwise any hopes of anything further would have been gone. What a move by Sam.
A great move by Sam, and Porcelli to force the door open was absolutely huge. But now the gap is going to be about 0.4 of a second as they'll come down over the line and should see 2 laps to go. You know what? I haven't had to use this one in a while. Oh, what a move by Sam! He's outside of Porcelli.
He got the mistake. David just got a little too wide, kicked up a little bit of dust, and it was enough of a mistake for Sam to get the run.
But now Porcelli's going to have the look outside. Carazala really drives it in deep. Oh, what a move! Serdyakov may have a chance now.
Oh, boy.
Oh, what a fantastic battle for second, third, and fourth with 2 to go. The battle is too good, but Patrick, this is for you.
Patrick, don't be stupid somewhere else.
We don't have time for the comments, though, at least at the moment. We'll get to them in the post-race. Because we are down to 1 lap to go. A very quick lap this will be as well. And Carazala has opened up a gap on Porcelli. Porcelli's going to have to fight off Serdyakov. And at this point, it's more about gap managing than anything. You don't want to give him the draft down that long back straightaway.
I don't think he's going to have to worry about that. I think he's going to have enough of a gap.
Let's see if anybody's going to go full send into the corner. Porcelli, little bit wide. And again, another switchback with just no chance there for Porcelli. Pick up your race leader out of the final corner. He'll be your race winner. Checkered flag goes in the air, and Ted Burns picks up the win. Behind, Sam Carasala looks like he'll hold on for second. David Porcelli by less than a car length over Denis Serdyakov. And Everett Paddock coming across the line. He will round out the top 5. There he is, race winner Ted Burns. A fantastic drive. Big move at the start of the race. That was his key to victory here tonight, James.
Yeah, and that's why you see people make those sends. It works when it, works, of course.
Yeah.
Could have very easily not worked.
That's exactly right. It works when it works. Dynamite drop in there, James. Let's take a look at the race results. Teddy B by 4.3 seconds over Sam Carasala. David Porcelli comes home third by, 0.2 of a second over Denis Serdyakov. Craziness. Everett Paddock completing the top 5. Yoshikawa, Martin, Miller, Camargo, and Hazelworth complete the top 10. Second page of the leaderboard will have Joel Campbell, Rod Eskew, Tyler Stover, Brian Labarge, and Carl Giangrande back to 15th. Gavin Tomza and Jonathan Nuda, the final 2 cars on the lead lap. Brian North, Jem Matzlin, Kendall James back through the 20th position. Brock Sanders and Tobias Erdlison complete tonight's 22-car field. Before we get to the victory lane interviews here, let's run the comments. Bizzle says, I have the curse at Indy. I hate that track. It's a dumb track. Leave Fontana alone. Too late for that. Demolish Indy and build a short track instead.
And Patrick has been banned. Yes, thank you.
Send your hate mail to Bizzle at nationalracingnetwork.com. Feel free to light up his inbox tonight. Accelerator saying blasphemy as always from Bizzle. You are not wrong. Looks like we have all of our drivers in the waiting room, and let's bring up our race winner tonight, Mr. Ted Burns. And Ted, I'll tell you what, the key to that race for you absolutely will go down as the first lap pass and what you were able to accomplish into turn 1. That was a great move and really set up the victory.
Yeah, for sure. I know Okayama, it's a difficult track to pass. It's not impossible, but it's tough to get by. So I knew that any positions I could make up at the start there would be beneficial, and I knew work was cut out for me. But I've won from farther back here in the broadcast before, so I knew it could be done, and it opened up on the inside, made sure not to lock up or go wide, and was able to get a good run out. So it was. It was fun from there. Just but man, those conditions were tricky. The car was sliding a lot.
Well, and it was interesting because you talk about that sliding, and where you really have to be worried about that is when you try that move outside into the switchback, that right-left switchback where you took the lead. That has to be a little bit hairy trying to run the outside lane like that.
Yeah, for sure, and especially against someone I haven't raced, every day. I mean, Dennis he drove a great race, so hats off to him. Kind of a bummer he couldn't quite finish on the podium because he had awesome pace, but. So when I'm going in there, especially against a driver like that, I'm not as comfortable with, and in a corner I know is easy to lock up on going into the inside. Just gave him a little extra space, kind of broke a bit early. Once I knew he was making it down to the apex, I just kind of let off the brake and was able to use the camber of the road there, the banking, and just roll the speed around the outside, and was able to get the power down a little bit quicker, and gave me a nice little burst into the switchback to the left. So that was I was able to get that done around the outside.
Well, it was an impressive drive for you, and you'll likely extend the championship lead here after this race as well. A phenomenal season thus far. Now 7 starts and 6 wins, putting up Greg Seitz kind of numbers here. The question becomes, do we see you next week when we head off to Zolder?
Unfortunately not. I fly out on Sunday for 8 days on the road, so I will not be around next week for the race. So I'd like to hand the reins off to someone else for a victory. So,
well, we're looking forward to it, and safe travels to you, my friend. The racing season is really fixing to kick off for you, Ted. But congratulations on another big dominant win here tonight. And before we let you go, do those sponsor plugs and shout outs for us.
Yeah, of course. I got to thank Downforce Racing. Full transparency, I ran the exact setup that I shared with everyone publicly this week, so you know it was a good one. So don't be sleeping on those setups each week. And got to thank you guys for putting on an awesome broadcast. I love going back and watching it, especially we had the last week's broadcast on at Easter, and it was awesome seeing the family. Enjoying the coverage. So hats off to you guys for that, and thanks for everyone for coming out and racing tonight.
Thank you very much. I'm not entirely sure we're appropriate for Easter content, but we'll take it. Thank you very much, Ted. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here. Oh my God, somebody was watching us at their Easter dinner. That is mildly terrifying. Right. Now, time to bring in our second place finisher tonight. Race runner-up, Mr. Sam Karasala. And Sam, I'll tell you what, phenomenal race. I have to ask about the pass when you and David got past Dennis. That was such a ballsy move. How do you keep your foot in it and just trust that the car's going to stick in that scenario?
Well, the entire race I've been trying to get past David, and it was just so tough. I knew the second even the slightest door opened, I had to go for it. There was no choice if I wanted to move up the field. So I just sent it, hope for the best. I knew he was already going to be a little bit wide because his line was compromised when David went through first, and I knew that since I was behind him, I could get a little bit of a better entrance into there and make it stick into the next corner.
Well, and then you had an absolute dogfight with David. How much fun is that around this place? Because Okayama is one of those tracks. It's a free track. It's a James says it kind of a rookie track, so to speak. That means a lot of people have a lot of laps here, and that makes it really tricky to race somebody like David that close.
Absolutely it does. It's a little frustrating because you get so close down that really long back straight, but it's almost never enough to make a respectable move stick. Like, I'm sure if someone was really committed, they could have sent it from a few zip codes out of town, but to get a reasonable amount of overlap to justify a move, it is very tough to get yourself in a position like that. And of course, through the twisties and like the back half of the track, there's almost nothing you can do.
Well, I tell you what, it was an impressive drive tonight. We were on you and David for a lot of this race, and it was an incredible show you guys put on for us. Congratulations on the runner-up finish, and do all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs before we let you out of here.
Yep. Thanks to you guys, as always, for broadcasting this race. This car is amazing. I want as many people to see this broadcast as possible and come race with us on Thursday nights. And thanks to Team Watson Racing for making a great setup.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for just a minute. And now we'll bring in our third place finisher tonight, Mr. David Porcelli. And first, David, welcome back to the broadcast. It's fantastic to have you back here, and a great showing for you tonight as well. Congratulations on the podium.
Oh, thanks so much, Chris. Really appreciate it. Super glad to be back. Glad to be finishing on the podium in my first couple of weeks, showing my head back up. Yeah, it's feels like it's been a little bit of a slow start for me, but I haven't been getting a lot of testing in. I wanted to motivate myself just by immersing in the community and seeing everyone again, getting back to familiar faces and some fun battles. And looks like I'm succeeding at that, and so I'm looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah, a great battle, a really nice pass on Dennis to pick up the second position away from him, and then all of a sudden you're locked into this battle with Sam. It just seemed like that battle never stopped. You both came through. Talk us through that a little bit, because it seemed really, really intense out there.
Kudos to Sam for keeping me under pressure. He forced, he capitalized on this unforced error of mine. I guess my cobwebs are showing, and there's a little bit of growing pains here, which is fine. Happy to get a double podium with a teammate, and really look forward to the races that we have to come. I was gutted when I got up on that curb. I knew it was happening, and there was not much I could do. Tried to get it down into the hairpin, and lucky for Sam, he locked up, because I think I would have been able to stick it around the outside. But till next week.
I'll tell you what, fantastic drive there. Looking forward to seeing you back here in Zolder 1 week from tonight, David. Congratulations on that podium, and do all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs before we get you out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Satellite Racing and Team Watson Racing and Racecraft One Indianapolis. Hi to the family as always, and thanks to National Racing Network for putting on an awesome broadcast. Hope to see you guys in the booth next week.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here. And, man, James, just absolutely awesome show from these guys here tonight. Great look here at Okayama, the scenic views from the hillsides. A great show tonight. And it just, once again, this series seems like it always puts on a great show somewhere in and around that top 5.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. Like, that battle that we saw with Sam and David was one of the best battles we've seen. Just absolutely knock down, drag out, but still really close. We saw some jaw-dropping maneuvers. Can't really ask for much more.
Yeah, a great show from these guys. And incredibly, it will not wrap up the week of coverage here on the National Racing Network either. Coming up this weekend from the Homestead Miami Speedway Road Course, it will be the Spec Corvette Series. That race will be coming up Sunday morning. I think it's going to be around 10:30, 11 o'clock, but we will get a schedule confirmation from the folks over at Spec Corvette. It's either going to be kind of 10:30, 11 o'clock, or more like the 1 o'clock hour, because they have a lunch break there. So it depends on how the racing goes in the morning. But looking forward to that coming up this Sunday. And then next week, another huge week of broadcast excellence here. Kick it off with the Silver Crowns at North Wilkesboro Speedway, Monday night, 9:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Follow it up Tuesday night, the Sprint Cars at North Wilkesboro. That'll be a 9 p.m. start. Follow it up with the TNT Shock Series Tuesday night, 9:45 Eastern Daylight Time. That race from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Going to be another great show for the PM18s out there. Coming up on Thursday, it will be these USFPRO cars heading off to Zolder. And then the Spec Corvette Series at Buttonwillow Raceway coming up next weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. Whole lot of racing going on here. We cannot wait to bring all of it to you. But with that, for James Watson and everybody else here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.